Friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be filming March's TBR. In February, though, I made better cards. So these are different people who could be in charge of my reading. So if it hits wild card, then that is literally any of these blue ones. There's like my sister-in-law, Mackenzie, a random number, my brother Matthew. I'm gonna do a read around haul project, so I think I'm gonna do a random number generator and pick on my entire digital and physical TBR, whatever number that is going to be the read it or unhaul it book. My brother-in-law Ben, free pick, my dad, my brother-in-law George, my hubby, buzzword, TBR knockout, my mom, a mood read, just different things like that. So I'm gonna mix these up a little, even though we haven't used these ones yet. So just in case I get wild card. While I was doing that, I also made like these prompt cards. Some of them are very vague, like genres. So if I get a genre in here, even though my game is actually like a genre picker, say that I land on romance, but the prompt card says a thriller, then I have to pick a thriller, and the first part of the turn doesn't matter as much. There's anything from like physical features of the book, like paperback, hardback, short book, long book, all the way to things like ugly cover, beautiful cover, a cry-worthy book, so a book I think I'm gonna cry when I read it, but I mix those up too. I won't be mixing them up every month though, just because they're new, so I thought I would. Let's see how I did in the month of February. So do know that I'm filming this slightly early. I still have like 9 or 10 days of the month left. Prompt we got was 5-star prediction. I think I'm officially DNFing the last invitation by Darby Kane. I read up into the last 100 pages and I just don't care. I don't like this book. And it's a shame because I've loved everything else that Darby Kane has written except for The Engagement Party. I haven't read that one yet. It is on my Kindle and I'm hoping to get to it this month, but in March, you know. But officially DNFing this, so it is counted as a finished book because it's no longer on my TBR. And here's the thing, I do not punish myself if I don't like books. If I don't like a book, then I just DNF it and move on. And that's what we're doing with the last invitation. Then we got a card that was the oldest book on your TBR, and I have changed that. I don't even think that is in that stack, but if it is, then what's gonna happen is if I get the oldest book on my TBR, which was The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare, which I did read, but if that comes up again, I am going to just pick a classic because those are older. Then we got Hubby Pick. My hubby picked Privacy by Nina Sadowski, and I did read it. Okay, then I was supposed to read The Last Guest by J.P. Pomeroy because I was supposed to blindly pick a book from the bottom shelf. I redid that on my own time, and I ended up picking The Long Game by Elena Armas, and I did read this one. Then I got Read According to Your Birthday, and I used my Read Birthday because it was in the month of February and it was another year without cancer, so I consider that my rebirthday every year, and then I have my actual birthday where I turn another year older. In some ways, my rebirthday is more important to me than my actual birthday, but for that, I picked A Spot of Trouble by Terry Wilson, and I did read this. Then, I don't remember what I was supposed to pick, but I was supposed to pick a book from my bottom shelf again. I don't think this one had to be blind. I just think I was supposed to pick a book from the bottom of my TBR. And I ended up, like, stacking all my books differently, or at least like my new to me books differently, and I ended up reading First Light Wins by Ashley Elston, and I did read it. Then this book was for TBR Knockout. It was a book about friendship, and for that I picked Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls, which is one of my favorite books of all time. My favorite book of all time, definitely. Then, this one I'm still in the middle of, and by the middle of, I mean I'm like 50-ish pages in, and I got just like anything in the fiction umbrella, so like contemporary, historical, classic, literary fiction, any of those kind of things that was more than 500 pages. And for that, I picked Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. So far I have no thoughts on this. It is a story about friendship, which is pretty cool, but I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens. I should be able to finish this before March. Like I said, I have like 9 or 10 days left of the month. I have 9 days left of the month. So I'm going to say that I'm going to finish this. I'm at least 50 pages in. I think that if I've started every book, no, that's a bad rule, because if I haven't started a book, then I'm gonna, like, right before filming this, I'm gonna read the first like 3 pages and be like, hey, I started it. I have to be at least 50 pages in to count it. But I think in the next 9 days I'll be able to finish this book for sure. I'm also listening to it on audiobook as I read, so I think if I listen to it every morning when I get up and make breakfast and get ready for my day, that I should be able to knock this out pretty quickly. I mean, it's an 18-hour audiobook, but I have no doubt that I'm going to finish this. It's not done yet, but it will be. So, then in February, I did not play my Wager It game. If you don't know what that is, it's where I play my old game for the entire weekend and I have to get from the start to the finish in one weekend, or else I have to take an extra turn. But if I win, then I get to take 1 turn less. I didn't play at all in February. I want to play at least 6 times, so every other month. Maybe more in the summer, but we'll decide that later. So at least 6 games. So I guess that means that we're starting this game with 5 turns. I do need to get Buzzword-a-thon books. Actually, in the month of March, the Buzzword put on by Kayla from Books and Lala, go check her out. The Buzzword is character names in the titles. So options for me are Dracula, Emma, Charlotte's Web, Frankenstein, Dear Emma, and then I'm sure that I have more. Those are just the ones that come to me right away. But I want to actually do a like reading vlog of the Buzzwordathon readathon. So from the 1st to the 7th, you can read every book that has whatever the buzzword is for the month, or you can read one book and count it. I'm gonna read as many as I can in that week and vlog it and then put it on my channel. At least that's my plan. So I have lots of options for that, but I want to get stuff on my TBR for that. I also want to do TBR Knockout, which is what Melanie from Completely Melanie does. It's this challenge to read down your own TBR, and this month, so March, is New Beginnings. So read a debut author, so I can read any author's debut book, and the second one is to read a book about new beginnings. So I have some options for that. But with that extremely long intro, let's get into rule number 1 of 5. Alright, rule number 1 is right here. Let's see, I'm not sure if you can see that, but I promise it was a 5, which is a wild card. Oh no. So this is going to determine who picks. Alright, so turn number 1 got us wild card, and you got my in-laws. So I think what I'm gonna do is I have a group chat. I have several group chats with a lot of people, but I have one specifically with my in-laws. So I think I'm gonna get like 5 or 6 books together, and then I'm gonna text them, and whichever one of them replies first gets to pick my book. Okay. Okay, so I texted them this picture that has 8 different books on it, and each book is about starting over in one way or another. So whichever one they pick is going to be the one that I use for the starting over prompt of TBR Knockout. I did tell them that if they wanted more information on any of the books to let me know, and I will reply. More than likely they will just pick whichever one. I don't know how they're gonna do it, maybe by the cover or something like that. The title, I'm not entirely sure, but there is that. And when I get a text, I will let you know. Until then, let's go to rule number 2 for book 2. Rule number 2 is right here. Okay, it is 1. So any kind of like fiction book that is by a male author. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna pick. Okay. Oh, they're typing, but I think they typed something already. So I just picked a bunch of books about starting over. It looks like, oh, okay, they just replied. Give me one moment. Okay, so the in-laws picked Georgie All Along by Kate Claiborne. This is about this girl named Georgie. She's like 28 years old, and nothing in her life is really going the way she wants it to, and her friend is pregnant. So her friend was like, oh yeah, come help me for a few weeks, and I think she just got fired from her job, and she's like, okay, if you really need help, because she's pregnant and she just moved. And when she gets there, like friend's house is amazing, and everything's already unpacked except for a couple boxes. And when they're unpacking a couple of boxes, they come across like an old diary that they used to pass notes in or something, and it just brings her back to her high school days when everything was great. And I think that it's just kind of like a coming of age novel for Georgie, even though she's like 28, you know. And I'm excited to read this one. Then rule number 2 got us any book under the fiction umbrella, classic, historical, literary, anything like that. And immediately I was like, oh, I can get my classic on here. Now, what classic do I want? Some of you might think I'm cheating, but I'm rereading Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I haven't read this book in years, but my brother-in-law bought me a new copy, and so it's on my, I have to read it this year. So male author, classic, kind of more of like a modern classic, but still a classic. So I'm counting this. Let's go to rule number 3. Rule number 3 is a 4, which is a mystery, and our prompt is from a new to me author. For rule number 3, we landed on mystery by a new to me author. So I'm going to be reading Don't Wake Up by Liz Lawler. This follows this woman named Alex Taylor, and she wakes up in what seems to be a hospital room with a man standing over her wearing a surgical mask, wielding instruments of some sort, and he calmly tells her how he's going to attack her. And before Dr. Alex Taylor can scream, she gets another dose of anesthesia, and when she wakes up in a gurney in the hospital, she reports the rape and the attack. But it's like a mystery. I'm gonna say it's a mystery thriller, but it's a mystery because you don't know who attacked her, and they're kind of trying to figure that out. This is going to be super intense, but I'm gonna read it. It might make me emotional. Let's go to rule number 4 for book 4. Alright, book number 4 is going to be another fiction book. Oh, that is a paperback. So, again, we got anything under the fiction umbrella, classic, literary, historical, anything like that. And my only rule was that it had to be a paperback. So I am kind of being kind to myself, but not really. I am picking Olive Kittredge by Elizabeth Strout because it is another book that has a name in the title. So for the first vlog of March, I'm hoping to read all of the books with a name in the title. And it's a literary fiction about Olive Kittredge. I have 0 ideas what this is about and 0 expectations for this book. But now we have at least 2 books to read in that vlog. I would like to get one more and then figure out my books for TBR knockout. So let's get book number 5. Alright, last roll is a 2, which is a thriller. I didn't get any romance. Ugh, this game hates me. Oh, odd. Okay, I'll explain. Okay, so we got a thriller that says odd. What it means is that it ends in an odd page number. So it has an odd number of pages. So it has to be like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 as the last number. And it's a thriller. A thriller. Okay, give me a couple minutes. Last turn landed us on thriller with an odd number of pages. For that, I'm picking The Swap by Robin Harding. It's about this woman. It's about this married couple who are getting bored with their relationship, so they decide to have an open marriage and start swapping partners. I'm not exactly sure what else happens. I am very nervous for this book. I'm gonna look at TBR Knockout, and Buzzword is a character name. TBR Knockout was New Beginning, so it's like a debut book and a book about starting over, which, okay, so Georgie All Along counts for Buzzword and for a book where someone's starting over. Olive Kittredge is another book that has a character's name for Buzzword-a-thon. I think I'm going to try and pick one more book that has a character's name in it, and that'll be my third book sorry, that'll be my third book for the TBR Buzzword-a-thon that I'm doing on my channel in March. And let me figure out what I can find for a debut novel, and that'll be for TBR Knockout. The last prompt for TBR Knockout is Don't Wake Up by Liz Lawler. This is her first book, so I'm counting that. Oh, it says debut author. Whoops. So here is my TBR for the month of March. Not too bad, considering I had 9 books on my TBR in February, and February was the shortest month of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. I am going to try to pick 1 or 2 more books that have a character's name in it, so that when I do that reading vlog of reading all the books with character names as the title for Buzzword-a-thon, you guys will get more than 2 books, but I'm not gonna pick those right now. I will pick them in the moment during the reading vlog. So officially, these are my 5 books. Wow, I feel like I'm getting let off easy in the month of March. I'm not complaining, but these are the 5 books that I need to read. So obviously Georgie All the Way has to get read because this was what my in-laws picked. These 4 have other prompts, so as long as I fulfill the prompt, this is more of like a tentative TBR of what I would like to read for those. But as long as I fulfill the prompt, we're good. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. I will catch you in the next video. Bye!